yeah, this is the long-awaited video that most of you guys have been waiting for. So I just moved back from Korea, and let's just say things got really messy over there. Really messy with my academy. If you guys didn't know, I was an English teacher in Korea for 2 years, and I arrived to Korea in May and I started teaching in November. This academy, it's not in Seoul, it's in Songdo. It's a big franchise, by the way, and they are on the blacklisted list on Reddit. That's how much I want to say, because I do plan on going back to Korea, so like I don't want to get in trouble with like the laws over there. My academy was brand new. I was gonna start opening its door for kindergarten like in January, but in December we started doing training for elementary kids. And me and my co-worker, because we were the only first 2 foreigners to be hired and go there and start working there, me and her noticed that we were working for 2 academies. And it's crazy because when you look outside the building, it literally has the 2 names of both academies. But in our contract, it was only 1 academy. We started to realize that it was a little bit iffy, because we were supposed to be contracted for this academy, but we were also working for that academy. And those kids told me when they get into the academy, to the second academy, it's just a separate academy, but they were just sharing the same floor. But when I spoke to the director about it and I brought up the issue multiple times, she was like, oh no, it's because the old owner they didn't want to change their name, blah blah blah. Basically excuses, you know? And I was like, whatever, like I'm over it, like you guys are doing something fishy. So me and my coworker started like knowing fishy things about it, you know? But we ignored it. Then they started hiring more people, and we had a coworker that was working for the second academy, and we got super close. We were just talking to her and all that, but then she started having an issue with the director. And once she started having an issue with the director, she left. She started spreading rumors about me, my coworker, mostly like everybody else, and to the point where I got written up on warning notice. The amount of nonsense in this warning notice is ridiculous. Which one said, you know what, I'm gonna read it for you guys, because you guys need to like see this for yourself, because this is ridiculous. And I have like all the evidence here. What does it say there? First warning. One of the warning, it says inappropriate behavior. It says inappropriate behavior. You engage in inappropriate behavior, which includes showing your underwear in the teacher's room that made your coworkers feel uncomfortable. I showed my underwear in the teacher's room, where there's men as well, where there's teachers' men, by the way. So when she showed me that, I was like, where's the proof? Let me see the CCTV. Like, let me see the CCTV. If I actually showed my underwear in a teacher's room, let me see the CCTV. When my manager gave me the warning, I was like, I actually am not, first of all, I'm not going to sign this because it's ridiculous. Second, if I showed my underwear, let me see the CCTV. Where is the CCTV proof that I showed my underwear? Because you clearly have like CCTV all over the building. So let me see it. They're like, okay, let me talk to her about it. To this day, it's going to be almost 2 years now. To this day, I am still waiting for the CCTV. I did not sign the warning, because at the end of the day, it was false. Everything against me was false. Like, literally. That ended. And then I noticed that they were like nitpicking at me. Like, everything little thing that I did bothered them. And it comes to a point where I start speaking up in meetings. If something is wrong, something is wrong. We gotta speak about it. Isn't that meetings are for? Like, you have meetings to talk about what's going on in the school and all that. I started speaking up more, and I'm like, okay, why you guys don't do this instead of that? They didn't like that. The director hated it. By the way, the director did not speak English. By the way. So the manager always has to translate. And they got to a point where one of our coworkers started going in late, and in one of the meetings they were like, which I have like the paper meeting where it says that they were gonna literally make us pay 10,000 won, $10 for every minute you're late. And I was like, okay, if you guys are gonna do that, I want it written down. And I want it written down in my contract. And they're like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, why you can't do that? Because it's illegal, right? So you're doing something illegal. I did come late once, and they never asked me for the mad one because they knew I was gonna like report them. We started noticing that every time we spoke to the manager and the director alone in a private room, everybody by the end of the day, or everybody the next day, figured out what we spoke to her, to the director. They knew about her. When we spoke to her, everybody knew it. Everybody knew. Like, the director couldn't keep her mouth shut when we had an issue, and she had to like literally tell everybody. As well as when we spoke to the manager and the director, and we asked the manager to specifically translate something like the right way, everything to the director, she wouldn't. She would always like make it sound a different way. And I told, because I started noticing that. I cannot speak Korean that well, but I can understand. When I started noticing that, I started telling the manager, tell her exactly with the same tone, with the same thing, everything to the director. I don't care if it's mean or rude, but she's disrespecting me, so why should I respect her? You know? Like, I get that it's my manager and I have to be respectful, but why when she's disrespecting me? And the manager wouldn't do that. The manager wouldn't like speak to her. She would just stay quiet. So I was like, okay, with my broken Korean, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And I started doing that. So the director started hating me more and more and more because I wouldn't shut up. Like, I wouldn't like shut my mouth, basically. And it got to the point where more rumors started spreading about me. When something was wrong with one of us, with one of the coworker employees, the director wouldn't come directly to us and speak to us. She would ask everybody working there what was wrong. And that's how rumor starts, because everybody's going to assume. There was this one time that I came to work on Monday, and I was really sick with asthma, like really sick, because first of all, the pollution in Korea is really bad, and I get sick easily with the pollution. So to the point where I couldn't even speak, like I was literally dying. Like it was a hard time for me to even get out of bed, to even get ready. Like, I was literally dying. Do you think the director came up to me that day to ask me what's wrong? No, I was wearing a mask, like I was looking pretty rough. And Wednesday, she pulls me aside and she was like, just so you know, Monday, you came in smelling like alcohol. I looked at her and I was like, what the F are you talking about? If I came in smelling alcohol, you would have kicked me right away out of the academy. But you didn't, because it's a lie. Second of all, I was sick with asthma. You can basically still tell by the way I'm speaking to you that my voice is not okay. And she's like, yeah, I understand, but like the way you came dressed, that's not acceptable. Like, you need to like separate your work life with your private life. Like, you need to come every day with makeup, come dressed nicely, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was sick. I didn't have the energy to do my makeup. That's why I wore a mask. I came with professional work, which is like a shirt like this and work pants and a cardigan. So what do you mean I did not come into work looking professional? Was it because I didn't wear makeup? Do I have to wear makeup? Is it mandatory to wear makeup now? I started noticing they were like picking at me, every little detail. They knew from the moment they hired me, they knew that in May I was gonna go to Miami. In my contract, it states that if I get unpaid vacation, I will not get paid for it, which is understandable because I took unpaid vacation. In Korea, if you work at an academy, you either get two choices. They either provide you with housing or you get a housing allowance. Nowhere in my contract it says that if I get unpaid vacation, my salary will be deducted as well as my housing allowance. Nowhere in my contract it says that my housing allowance will be deducted. It only states that my housing allowance will be paid every month because I live in Korea and that's where I live. She deducted my housing allowance for that month. But you know what's crazy? my coworker went to back home for a week, which she got provided housing, which they have to pay for the housing, and they still pay for the housing. So what difference does it make that you pay for her housing and you give me less of my housing allowance? What difference does it make? There's no difference. You still have to pay me my full housing allowance. I let it slide. It was things that would just keep adding up. The first year ends.
Okay, I want to interrupt to say something. I'm editing the video at Starbucks, so sorry for the background noises. But they told me at the end of the year that they were not going to re-sign my contract again. And I was okay, fine, whatever. During that time, it was kind of hard for me to find another academy to sign with. So I told them, give me until February to find a new academy. And you guys are still looking for another foreigner teacher. So it's also hard for you guys to find. So I could work with you guys until February. And until February, you guys have time to find another teacher. Now have time to find another academy. Turns out February comes, I do find another academy. They don't find another foreigner teacher. So what did they do? They didn't let me go. And I already signed the contract for that year. I did have a paper in writing that saying that I could leave the academy in February, but she didn't allow it. She threatened me with canceling my visa, so I had to stay working there for a whole nother year. So I did try leaving the academy. When I did have the chance to, they threatened with my visa. And it's so crazy because I tried my best to work with them still. Like, you couldn't find another foreign teacher. I couldn't find another academy. So I'm going to work with you guys for 3 more months until you guys find another foreign teacher and I find another academy. And even after everything they did to me, after the false accusation, the lines, everything, I still was trying to be nice with them, work with them, like try to find something that we can both work between. But something that I learned from this experience is that you can never be nice with people. You literally have to be strict. I learned it the hard way. Like, in this like toxic work environment, you can't be nice. You really can't. I tried to leave at the end of the day, and what did I get at the end of the day? I got threatened with my visa being canceled. So I also realized that that's like a little thing that a lot of academies love to do in Korea. If you don't do the thing their way, they love to threaten you with your visa. So just something to keep in mind.
The second year for the new students come in. I noticed that I am the only one out of all the Korean teachers and all the foreign teachers that have the most classes. Less break time and more classes. I'm like, fine, whatever. She's just trying to get back at me, overworking me, whatever. I didn't complain about it. What I just did is that I just went to class, and then when it was time for me to like plan, I went to a different classroom and be there. Which, to her, she didn't like it. She didn't like it that I was in my own classroom planning. She wanted me to plan in the teacher's room. My director was literally bullying me and like threatening me. There got into a point where she would sit with me during lunch break. She would sit next to me like that I would be scared and not talk to my coworkers. She would literally sit next to me during lunchtime. And I still talk in front of her. I don't give a crap because at the end of the day, it's my lunch break. What happens during lunch break is none of their business. It's not. It's really not. Because if you're going to sit next to me while eating, it's okay. But after, we're going to go get coffee and I'm still going to talk. Like, I'm still going to talk. She hated that. And I was in the teacher's room. This happened multiple times. I was in the teacher's room, like, planning. And then even my coworker, like, just come sat next to me. We were, like, talking. We were, like, talking about each other's boyfriends. And they were still doing lunch break. She opens the door and she's like, watch out, Natty. Watch out. Wait, my Korean name is Natty. She's like, watch out, Natty. Watch out. Watch out. I'm looking. Watch out. Okay, ma'am. Like, you're so literally obsessed with me. Like, calm down. You're like, here. You need to bring that over here. Like, so it's just like little things that they're adding up. And like, you get tired of it. And it's crazy because, not to like brag about me or anything, but I was the most favorite teacher out of all the kids. Like, every day they would come to me and they were like, oh my god, Natty teacher, you're so fun, Natty teacher, blah, 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 blah. And then there was one situation where one of the kids were playing with their chair and he fell. So I took the chair and I'm like, you see, this is what happens when you play with the chair. You fall. So you promise me you're not gonna take the chair, you're not gonna play with the chair anymore? No. So I give him back the chair. The classroom door has like a little peek thing, like a little window so you can peek through. Every day she's peeking through the classes. Every day. She's peeking through the classes every day. So that day she peeked at that moment that I took the kid's chair. Turns out after, she spoke to me and she was like, that's child abuse. I'm sorry. If I was abusing the kid, you would have opened the door and you would have stopped me right there and then. But you didn't. Because it's not child abuse. It was not. So why are you lying? That happened the first week. What I'm going to tell you guys happened at the end of the week, which was my breaking point. Like, I was literally done at this point. I was really mentally done and draining. Like, I was done. I was ready to walk out. Really. And I did. So let me tell you what happened. So 2 weeks ago, I spoke to my co-teacher, my Korean co-teacher, and I was like, is it okay if I can bring donuts for the kids? Donuts. Because I always see that Korean teachers bring snacks for the kids and, you know, candies here and there. Whatever. Because the kids have been improving so much. By the way, I taught 4 years old. I literally taught babies. So I wanted to do like a mini donut party. Like a mini donut party. And it was like the end of like the semester, you might say. Like we were about to end the book. And we finished a book early. So we were literally just like reviewing and giving out worksheets. I was like, okay, instead of giving worksheets, I'm going to buy them donuts and they can eat donuts before lunch. And I brought it up to the manager and I was like, is it okay if I can like bring donuts for the kids? Yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, fine. The day comes, I give donuts for the kids. By the way, all parents agreed that it was okay. They even told the Korean teacher to tell me, oh my god, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. That day comes, I give the donuts. The director comes in and she's like peeking through the door. She's like, what are they doing? I'm like, they're eating donuts. Well, whose permission? I'm like, the parents. But did you ask me? I'm like, I asked the manager. But did you ask me? I'm the one in charge. No. So, you shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, okay, sorry. She leaves. She comes back. The kids are eating their donuts. They have the donuts in their mouth. She removes the donuts out of their mouth. Removes them. Removes it. Throws them away, by the way. Telling them how it's so bad to eating donuts in the classroom, blah, blah. And she even lied to the kids. She was like, oh, you can finish eating donuts at home. They never got to chance to eat the donuts. Lunch comes, I go to lunch, whatever. And to be honest, I don't even have lunch in the academy because like it was just so draining and like I just went on a break, literally. She sends a message in the group chat saying how we are not supposed to bring outside food, blah, blah, blah. When I come back, I start working. You know, I'm back in the classroom, I'm teaching, blah, blah, blah. My phone is like in front of like the smart board and I'm like all the way in the back. And she comes in and she's like, where's your phone? I'm like, over there. Bring it out. I'm like, why? Come out. But I'm teaching. Come out right now. I'm like, okay, fine. Very rude, by the way. Screaming at me and everything. She's like, why didn't you like the message? I'm like, because I was in lunch and I wasn't paying attention to my phone. Like it right now. I'm like, okay. I like the message. I go back to my class. Now less than 5 minutes, she comes again. And at this point, I grab my phone and I start hitting record. Like, I start hitting record. Like, I was recording the conversation. But wait, every conversation I had with the lady, with the director, I recorded it. Because in Korea, it's legal to record conversation if you're in the conversation. Now, if you leave your phone there and you walk away, that's illegal. But I have everything recorded, like, everything. So, I start recording. And then she's like, come outside. I'm like, okay, fine. But you're interrupting my classroom. I'm like, I don't care. Come outside now. I'm like, okay. I hit record. And then she's like, what's your name? I'm like, I liked it. Don't you see my name is right there? I don't see it. I liked it. Why are you forcing me to like a message on Kakao? Why are you forcing me? Like, if I don't have to like it. I clearly liked it. She's like, good. You need to listen to me. And I'm like, I started getting mad. I was like, first of all, talk to me nicely and stop screaming in my face. And she was like this. No, I'm mad at you. Listen to me. Shut up, shut up, shut up. She was doing this so close to me, like this, that she almost hit my nose. And I was like, you're going to hit me? Stop it, this is harassment. She's like, no, shut up, shut up, shut up. Like basically all her spit was in my face. It was disgusting. So I walked out. I was like, you know what, F you, F the academy, I'm done with this. And I walked out. And in the elevator, I called my boyfriend, like crying. And he's like, you just walked out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna call the police. So I called the police on her. And the police came and I showed them the voice recording. And I was gonna show them the message that she made me like, but she blocked me from the group chat already. So the police was like, look, we cannot do anything with the Korean law because she did not physically hit you. But we can go up there and talk to her to tell her that's not okay what she did, and you can grab like all your stuff. And I was like, okay, good. So we went up with the police officer and I got my stuff, and they were asking to speak to her, and she never came out. She never came out to speak with the police officers. She never came out. Not once she ever came out to speak to police officers. So we just left, and I think the police officers.
So after the police officers left, I went to a cafe with my boyfriend, and I spoke with immigration, and I told him my situation, and I told him that I had to walk out to call the police on my director. She's basically gonna cancel my visa now. Do I have to like leave the country right away, or there's a time for me to like have time to leave because I have to cancel my apartment contract. I also mentioned to the immigration officer, I was like, I already have a ticket to leave the country in August. Can I stay until August in the country to leave? And they're like, yes. In Korea, you have 30 days after your visa canceled to leave the country. She will not be able to cancel your visa right away. It's a process. Maybe it takes like 2 to 3 weeks, and then you have another month after that. Plus, if you do need extra time to stay a little bit more time in the country, you can do that. We can give you 30 more days inside the country. Thankfully, I didn't need to extend my stay in the country. I literally just left the first week of August, but that's what the immigration office told me. So if they do cancel your visa, you have time to leave the country, and you don't have to like leave the country right away.
I left May 26th or 28th. I don't remember. It was like the second to last week of May, and I left on the Friday. I was supposed to get paid on June 10th. And if you leave your work, you're supposed to get your severance pay. June came around, I didn't get paid. I went to school again, and I was like, I'm here. Where's my money? It's been more than 2 weeks, and you guys haven't been paying. It's illegal. You guys had 14 days, and it's over the 14 days, and you guys haven't paid me. Where's my money? It's like, and I saw the director. Like, she was like literally in another office. And they're like, we can't pay you right now. Like, we have to wait. I'm like, okay, fine. Then let me speak to the director. My boyfriend even came with me to speak with her. And then she was like, oh, no, she can't, like, come in right now. She's in the classroom. That was in all Korean. And I was like, to my manager, I'm like, stop lying. Because I hated that they always lied to me. I was like, stop lying. She's right there in the other academy's office, sitting down. She's not in no classroom. Stop lying. Because I saw her. Whatever. They're like, don't come back here anymore. We don't want you here. If you come back, we're going to call the police. Whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. But just know you have to pay me. They did not pay me until July. Like the end of July. I reported them to the Korean government. I reported them for not paying me on time and for bullying and harassment. I didn't know where it ended because I had to like leave back to America. But I do know that she had to pay a Korean fee, like a big fee for like bullying, harassment, and not paying me on time. If you report somebody, they have it keeps it on tracks and with all the points. One of my old coworker also reported her, and I also reported her. So that's 2 already reports that she have on herself, which sucks. That's how you can tell she's a really bad person. because I used to go to the gym, and the gym is in the same building as my academy. And one day I went to the gym with my boyfriend, and I saw one of my coworkers, and then she was like, you know that she was telling everybody that we were gonna sue the foreigners teachers as well. And I was like, oh my god, like they keep lying under my name, like they keep, literally it's defamation. Literally what she's doing towards me is defamation. And I told them, like, guys, don't worry, like, it's not you, it's like just her. And I'm like, no, I understand, but just so you know, like, she's like lying on behalf of your name. And I'm like, all right, thank you. Yeah, this is my story of working my first ever academy. What I would recommend you guys to do, if you do guys plan on going to Korea and working at an academy, I would recommend do your research. Guys, do your research of your academy. Like, even if it's in, let's say you're going to like a franchise academy, do your research, because if it's one problem in, like, let's say in Busan, and you're going to work in Seoul for the same franchise, you're gonna have the same problem. Do your research in your academy, and also check on Reddit on the blacklisted Hagwons board thing that they have, because a lot of academies are blacklisted there, and a lot of people tell their stories. I'm not saying that all the academies are like this. This is just my experience. Choose wisely. That's all I'm saying. Choose wisely. So yeah, this was my experience of Korea, and it's not gonna stop me from going back to Korea. I love Korea. I love the people. I love the food. I love the culture. It's just that the working environment is very toxic over there. I also see that. I also noticed that while working there. So yeah, I hope if you guys do end up working in a Hagwon in Korea, I hope you guys don't experience something like I did, or don't experience nothing at all, and it goes really nice for you guys. That was my little story time, a little tea for you guys for today, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.